Hey guys, Terry here with a quick install guide for your BMS CANfuel system. I'll go over the harness real quick, then show you where the connections go on the car. Starting at the big end, this goes into the system, the CANfuel system itself. There's a USB here that's for legacy use, like if the Bluetooth isn't working and you have to do a emergency restore or something. Most of you will never use it, so you'll just leave it out of the way. Ground, of course, that'll go to a suitable chassis ground. These two wires here are for PWM outputs. The orange we usually use for a second fuel pump relay, and the purple for a Mac boost solenoid for cars that are running a pneumatic external wastegate. But you can use them for other things, that's just how we've been using them. Most of you will use the orange to run a relay for your second fuel pump. 14 position here is the transmission connector. This has power, CAN bus, and an extra ground. Most of you will be using this just by plugging it in. There are fuel cases where you may need to cut this off and use posi taps to attach the CAN bus and the power. That would be for primarily manual transmission cars that don't have the CAN bus at the transmission connector, but we can go over those as needed in your individual case. Next, we've got flex fuel and fuel pressure. These go right into the sensors. We have these spaced out for use with the Fuelit kits that have the fuel pressure sensor right on the ethanol sensor. If yours is different, you can get an extension. We have extensions for these, or you could cut the wires and extend them yourself in a pinch. Of course, we've got injectors, self-explanatory. And finally, this guy is cam position, so I'll show you where that goes on the top of the engine. We'll start from the back and work our way up. Of course, you can see that we've got the 6 fuel injectors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And those are all spaced so that they go right in order. Over here, we've got our cam sensor. See that plugs in. Now this has our stage 2 manifold, so it's a bit harder to see the ethanol connection. It's right where, the ethanol sensor is right where my hand is here. And then the pressure sensor is right next to it. So you can't really see it, but take my word for it. Then you'll route the harness above, and we get to our transmission connector here. It's pretty straightforward. Just unplugs, plugs right in. And of course, we have our ground. We've extended it down to here, although you can use any suitable ground point. We have it here because we have our CANfuel box located right here. But if you have your box somewhere else, of course, you can use a different ground. Of course, the orange wire we have connected to a relay here that's running all the way around to the other side that powers our secondary fuel pump. Now for the placement of the box, it sort of depends on the model. We have a JB4 in here, and we also have this extra fuse box here, so we can't easily slide it down there. So I've been leaving it right up here, and I just put the cover over the top of it. In some cases, you'll be able to slide it down here. And then of course, I've seen some other people just mount it in the engine bay. It's fully weatherproof, so you don't have to worry about, the elements or heat or anything. Just put it wherever you feel like putting it. That's pretty much it. You can install this thing in under 5 minutes. Let me switch over my phone next, and I'll start going over the JB4 settings for it. Okay, I'm in the car now, so let's go over the JB4 settings for CANfuel. I'll jump over to the settings page. This is a B58 with a larger turbo, so you can see I'm on P159 firmware. Let me start. Option 4 enables CANfuel, so you'll turn that on. Option 2, you will turn on if you're running one of our MHD flex fuel maps meant to work with CANfuel. That enables the communications from CANfuel to the ECU for fuel scaling and so forth. The basic settings here are fuel bias. I have this set up because we're running a little larger injectors and higher fuel pressure. Default is 50 across the board. I would start there, and you can send in logs and we'll help you dial those in as needed. For more advanced settings, we have some options under enabled. I have them all off right now, but I'll post a list of what they are. But you can do things like force on the secondary fuel pump. You can tell the JB4 to output all the injector currents directly rather than just one combined unit, and some other stuff in there. Min TPS and Min Advance are tuning factors for the MHD integration if you're running our flex map. So if you're running that, then start with 40 and 10, and I can help you adjust them from there. But basically, a higher Min TPS is a higher offset to the ECU based off of the port injection scaling, and Min Advance is actually the PID gain for the PID that's running to control the fuel trims on that. But I can go over all that with you via email if you need. Jumping over to the logging tab here real quick. You'll know it's working if you can see E85 and low fuel pressure. I see those moving here. That means it's getting the data from CANfuel through CAN bus, so everything's good. Now I've added some other parameters down here. If I had the individual injector monitoring turned on, aux 1 through 6 would show injector current. Right now, we have the total injector current showing in ignition 8, and 0.6 is nominal. Basically, it means that they're powered on, but they're not doing anything. If you do a full throttle run, you'll see that sneak up. Ignition 7, we have as RPM coming from CANfuel, so you'll know that it has sync and is working properly if you see that tracking your RPM, essentially. And even if you lose sync during a run, CANfuel's smart enough to revert to batch fire emergency mode. No need to worry about that. But you'll know it's synced when you see that moving. One last thing to keep track of here is the fuel enrichment field. This is going to be the request out to the CANfuel system for the total port injection volume. And MethFlow right now is where we're showing the response for the total amount that has been injected. So those should pretty much mirror each other. You might see like a 1/10 of a second delay between the request and the response, because the response is also based off of confirming that it was injected based off of the injector current. But those are the two fields you want to keep an eye on when you're looking at JB4 logs with port injection to ensure that everything's flowing properly. That pretty much covers it for now. I'll be doing a full post with more information later.